over details of its chemical arsenal yesterday, meeting a deadline under a deal that head of military strikes. The world's chemical weapon watchdog said Damascus had already given details of its invention to the Hague base. To the Hague-based organization for the prohibition of chemical weapons, OPCW, but the group said the process was now complete now.
The process was now complete. Process was now complete. Syria hands chemical arms inventory to watchdog. Go ahead.
Syria hands chemical arms inventory to watchdog. Syria handed over details of its chemical arsenal yesterday, meeting a deadline under a deal that headed off military strikes. The world's chemical weapons watchdog said Damascus had already given details of its inventory to the Hague-based Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW, but the group said the process was now complete.
Very good. The prohibition of chemical weapons, the OPCW, they were mentioned on the radio this morning, on television as well, the OPCW. All of a sudden, no one knew who they were, and now all of a sudden they're on TV and in the news. OPCW, what the group said, the process was now complete. Syria hands chemical arms inventory to watchdog. Good. Go ahead.
Syria hands chemical.
The gas is here. We got it in the room.
Yes, we did.
Chemical weapons are in the room. Wow.
Syria hands chemical arms inventory towards the Syria hand over detail of its chemical arsenal yesterday meeting. A deadline under a deal that head of military strikes. The World Chemical Weapons watchdog said Damascus had already given detail of its inventory to the Hague-based Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW, but the group said the process was now complete.
Right. Inventory. The big sound there is on the Tory part. Inventory. Like if it was invention. The stress would be on the first part of the word, invention. But in this case, it's inventory. Just a little bit of stress on different parts of the word that kind of change the sound a little bit. Very good. Go ahead.
Syria hands chemical arms inventory to watchdog. Syria handed over details of its chemical arsenal yesterday, meeting a deadline under a deal that based on military strikes. The world's chemical weapon watchdog said Damascus had already given details of its inventory to the Hague-based Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW. But the group said the process was now complete.
Very good.
Thank you.
W.
Syria hands chemical arms inventory to watchdog. Go ahead.
Syria hands chemical arms inventory to watchdog. Syria handed over details of its chemical arsenal. Yesterday, meeting a deadline under a deal that headed of military styles. The world's chemical weapons watchdog said Damascus has already given details of its inventory to the Hager-based organization for the prohibition of chemical weapons, OPCW, but the group said the process was now complete.
Exactly. Its inventory to the Hague-based Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW. The group said the process was now complete. In other words, the details of the inventory have been handed over to the OPCW. Go ahead.
Syria hands chemical arms inventory to watchdog. Syria hand over details of its chemical arsenal yesterday, meeting a deadline under a deal that heads off meeting strikes. The world chemical weapons watchdog said Damascus had already given details of its inventory to the Hague-based Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW. But the group said the process was now complete.
Right, very good. The process was now complete. Yesterday, meeting a deadline under a deal that headed off military strikes. Headed off military strikes. The world's chemical weapons watchdog said. What did the world's chemical weapons watchdog say? It said that Syria handed over details of its chemical weapons arsenal. So Syria hands chemical arms inventory to watchdog. What is a watchdog? A watchdog.
In this case, I think that is maybe, I think that is a guard.
Yeah. Basically, somebody that's on the alert. If you owned a factory, let's say, and you had 23 trucks parked outside the building, maybe you would hire a security guard and also a couple of watchdogs. Dogs that would be on the alert.
Yeah.
And if they saw something or heard something, they would begin to bark,
Yeah.
and alert the security guard that something is going wrong. In other words, you had hired 2 watchdogs to protect the property or to keep an eye out for intruders, people trying to get in and steal the trucks or steal the property in the trucks. Watchdogs. You see them all the time around the world in different places. Guard dogs, basically. And in this case, of course, they're not really dogs that they've hired here. They're just using the term to show that somebody is keeping an eye on chemical weapons. And they refer to it as a watchdog. So we all know that it's not really dogs.
So it's an NGO.
A non-governmental organization, an NGO, is that what you're trying to say?
Watchdog.
It could be. It could be an NGO, or it could be part of the government in the sense that it has the responsibility to watch out or protect something. Now, it can be a government organization or a non-government organization. organization. Whoever is the watchdog has in charge of the premises. You could have watchdogs at this temple, hired by you. You could hire a security guard and 2 watchdogs to patrol the temple at night to see if anything happens that's not good. So,
Each watchdog, a organization set up by UN.
yeah, in this case, it is an organization. It's the OPCW. They are the watchdog.
What does the OPCW? Oh.
But a watchdog could be anything that is, in fact, a watchdog. It could actually be a dog. But in this case, it's an organization. They're just using the term. They can't, in the newspaper, spell out the whole thing, so they come up with the idea, oh, we'll just say watchdog. And everybody will know that it's somebody guarding the premises, protecting something. In this case,
Teacher, what is the full name of OPCW?
Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons.
organization, O, for the prohibition, P, of chemical, C, weapons, W. OPCW.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anyway, okay. So, Syria has handed over the list, the inventory, the list of all the weapons, the inventory. What they say is, and who did they give it to? They gave it to the watchdog. So Syria handed over the details, all the small points, not just a big picture, no, a list, one by one by one by one, the details of its chemical arsenal, of all the chemical weapons that it holds. It gave a detailed list of each item. Boom, boom, boom. And they did it yesterday. And why yesterday? Because there was a deadline. They had to do it by a certain time. And that time was yesterday. And they met the deadline. Meeting a deadline under a deal, under an agreement that they had reached. And that deal stopped, headed off, turned away the military attack that was said to be about to occur if Syria did not meet the deadline. Ooh, they met it yesterday, therefore no military strikes. They headed off, turned away the military attack, which was to happen if they failed to meet the deadline, but they did. The world's chemical weapons watchdog said, the world's chemical weapons watchdog said that Damascus, the capital of Syria, Damascus, Syria, when they refer to Damascus, the capital, in a sense they're referring to the government of Assad, President Assad. They could have said Syria had already. In this case, they just changed it and said Damascus had already given details of its inventory, the list of property, in this case, chemical weapons, to the Hague base. What does that mean? Hague base.
Is the city of West Netherlands. Hague is a city.
Exactly. And where is it?
Netherlands, Holland.
The Netherlands. The Netherlands up in Europe. Hague. There are many international organizations based in The Hague.
Yeah.
The World Court. Also the OPCW, Organization Prohibition Chemical Weapons. That means Hague-based. They could have said London-based or Washington-based.
Yeah.
By that they mean where it is located. headquarters is located. It is based, in this case, in The Hague, in the Netherlands.
Yes.
Hague-based organization for the prohibition, to keep chemical weapons away from everybody. They are prohibited by international agreement. And there is an organization to make sure that they don't proliferate, that they don't have chemical weapons. And that is the Organization for the Prohibition, to prohibit, forbid the use and possession of chemical weapons. That is the watchdogs. The one responsible to make sure chemical weapons are not in use or in the possession of anybody. The Hague-based OPCW. But the group said the process was now finished, complete, over. The process, the giving of the information, the how it is presented, the process, step by step by step, it is all complete. We have the inventory in our hands. It was handed over. Any questions about
The group, what the group is?
What is the group
What is the group?
reference
The
to?
group said, but the group,
where is it? Oh, OPCW. The OPCW says that it is finished. The process is done. We have received, the watchdog said, all the inventory from Syria. It is complete. We have everything they said they have. They gave it to us yesterday. The process of handing over the inventory to the OPCW is now complete. And who said that? The group did. And who's the group? The OPCW. OPCW, the process is complete. Finished. Done. Hands over chemical inventory to watchdog. Any other questions? What? It's a city, the Netherlands. City, Hague, The Hague. There are many international organizations centered in The Hague. The OPCW is one of several. Netherlands. Deadline. Any other questions?
teacher, why the details sent to hacker-based organization?
Again?
Why the details of Syria have to send to hacker-based organization?
Because they were the ones designated by the United Nations to check out the inventory. They are the group, the world group, responsible to make sure that Syria hands in a complete list of all its chemical weapons. That is their job, to make sure that whoever has chemical weapons gets rid of them and hands in the inventory so that the inspectors now can go out to Syria and see and destroy the chemical weapons that Syria says they have. So that's why the OPCW is involved. They are the world organization responsible to make sure that chemical weapons are not possessed or in use, as they were apparently on August 21st, when several 100 people were killed by chemical weapons. Who used them? Still a question. A lot of people think Syrian government did. Some say it was the rebels. I don't know. But that's why the OPCW is involved. It's It's their job to oversee and control the whole idea of chemical weapons. They are the watchdog, the one responsible to make sure they're not in use and they're not being built or made or being used.